Huh, look at that. October of 2023 is becoming a very special month this year, and it ain't just because of Halloween, no. It's about some other events occurring this month, and one that people have been waiting years to arrive. That's right, the new update to Geometry Dash. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie will finally be released after nearly 10 years of being first announced, and going through a process of development hell. Will the film be great? Probably not. I mean, a lot of films in development hell don't really do so well, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was awful, but I'm still anticipated to see it. The FNAF franchise is well loved and well hated by the masses, but I think everyone can still agree that it's impressive just how far this series has gone from being an indie game back in 2014 into a feature-length film in 2023. That's some insane progress, and it just shows how iconic this series has been to everyone. But what's more iconic about it is its cast of characters. The FNAF animatronics are all memorable in their own ways, and they share one goal in mind, and that's to kill you. Unless you're Glamrock Daddy.
We were bad, but now we're good.
But all of these guys want to try and get you, and there's not exactly many ways to stop them from doing that. So, what if you can fight them? What if you can fight the FNAF animatronics? Will you be able to win?
Okay, so the first night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through. What the fuck?
The short answer is no. But for the long answer, that's what we're going to find out. By the way, this idea has been done before. This isn't like an original video. Go ahead and check out the people that have done this, like Linkmer and such, and dislike this video and unsubscribe from this channel. Yay!
Boo! You stink!
But before we can go for the characters, let's set up some house rules. First, we're not going to be listing the characters' weight or height and such, because I couldn't find an accurate number. Tons of people have been giving me different answers, so I can't really list any of them. I can't mention some of them. Second, no weapons. We're not going to be doing any weapons here. We're going to figure out how you can beat these things in hand-to-hand combat. There is an exception to this. I can count scenarios where items from the games can be used, like those electric-powered doors, the Freddy mask, or the flashlights. But we're still going to be looking into the scenario of being these possessed animatronics with our fists. If you're someone that has a problem with that rule, I don't care. Pussies. Figuring out how to beat these animatronics with just grit alone is a lot more fun and creative versus just, I'll just bring a fucking AR-15 to the pizzeria somehow and shoot Freddy. Oh, I can make this makeshift flamethrower and make easy... The point is, here on this channel, we are beta chads. We fight these possessed robots with our hands, feet, dick, and ass. No weapons. Third rule is, I'm not counting games like FNAF World or Special Delivery. There are just way too many variations and characters in those games. Fourth and final rule is that I'm not counting any human characters like Michael or Henry Emily. We're only checking out animatronics, and additionally, we're not counting irrelevant Easter eggs like Endo or Lolbit. One last thing to mention real quick before we head right in is how we rank the results of each animatronic. We'll be categorizing them into 3 sections: a win category, a loss category, and a undetermined/neutral category. Usually used in case there's not enough information about animatronic, or if fighting them will give us a 50-50 chance. I think we got everything out of the way here. Let's just jump right into the main subjects of our terrible video, going through each game of the franchise and see if we can beat the animatronics. Let's go. Starting off with the titular character of the series, Freddy Fazbear. In the first game, Freddy is the last of the main cast to leave his stage and head right towards you, usually doing so in the shadows of the pizzeria, and only leaving these 2 tiny bits of lights from his pupils. He gets to you by traveling through the right side of your office, and would commonly laugh throughout the night. As far as fighting him goes, the odds aren't looking good for us. There's not much to really do to go against him. Even in a scenario where we can use an item from the game, like the doors, they still wouldn't help. They run out of power, and when that's out, Freddy just jump scares you anyways. A fight with Freddy is gonna get ugly. For us, that is. Even if we do some damage, it's still not going to affect a 100-pound robot. Yeah, this is a loss. Bonnie. Funny thing, when I was trying to search up their heights, no one could really understand if they should count Bonnie's ears or not. I thought that was funny. Anyways, of all the animatronics, Bonnie is the most active throughout the first game. Bonnie would get off the stage and head right to you from the left side of your office. And yeah, you're gonna be seeing him quite a lot outside by the doors, which can stop him, but make sure you check on him very often. If you fail to check on Bonnie outside your office, the buttons for the doors and lights will be disabled, and you have nothing protecting yourself from him or any other thing. So, if the doors do fail and you're left in a 1v1 situation with Bonnie, how is it gonna turn out? Pretty much the same as Freddy. In fact, the two have sort of a similar stocky body type, which can definitely aid him in defense for any of our attacks. Yeah, unfortunately for us, this is another loss. Chica. Chica's another active animatronic, being more active after night 1. She kind of follows the same movement as Bonnie, but only on the right side of the pizzeria, even appearing in the kitchen, albeit off camera. When she approaches to your office, she's on the right side, and can also disable both the lights and doors if you don't check on her. So while they could realistically stop her, they can also be jammed, and you would end up in a 1v1 situation. So if you were able to fight Chica, we'd still lose. Chica has that same stocky build like the other animatronics, although it is shown to be at a lesser extent. There still isn't much that we can do in this situation, so this is a loss. Also, sorry if these initial entries aren't all that exciting, but I promise it's gonna get a lot more interesting. Speaking of which, yes, everyone loves Foxy. Alright, so compared to his other fellow animatronics, Foxy's entire build is different. He doesn't really have that same stocky build as the rest, or even something a lot more slim, but compared to Bonnie, Freddy, or Chica, he's got more of a slender body type. And as for his height, it's kind of confusing. I see people say he's a lot more shorter than the rest of his peers, but in official materials from Scott Cawthon, he's shown to be around the same height. We'll just say that he's shorter. One of Foxy's iconic traits is his speed. He's able to run down the hallway leading to your office in a matter of seconds. Exactly how fast he runs is a bit scattered, but the number I see most common being 27.7 miles per hour, which means Foxy may be faster than Usain Bolt. Keeping up with the pirate aesthetic, Foxy also has a hook for a hand. I don't know if the hook is actually real though, but considering Fazbear Entertainment's terrible track record, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. However, while Foxy has a good speed stat, his defense stats are complete shit. His design shows signs of vulnerability as much of his body is exposed. His endoskeleton is out with almost nothing protecting it. So, if we do go against Foxy, we can aim for him in these areas. Something I forgot to mention previously is that these animatronics are designed with multiple layers on them. There's the endoskeleton, which is then covered in plastic, metal, and or fiberglass, and then there's the fursuit. These layers can help the animatronics in a fight, and Foxy is missing some of those layers, including around his legs. Getting Foxy in the legs can hinder his balance and movement, making him vulnerable to any attacks. If we do go up against Foxy, and we can theoretically kick him hard enough, we may be able to damage or even break Foxy's leg off. Rest in piss, Foxy's legs. He's gonna have to start using a peg leg like the rest of the pirates. Then again, we are banking really hard on this type of scenario. Foxy could still fight back against us, probably even bite our frontal lobes off, and we don't really know how durable these endoskeletons really are. Plus, we have to be pretty accurate and fast with what we can throw at him because he can quickly kill us. And I think for that, I'm gonna say that it's a 50-50, but mainly because I'd like to have at least one animatronic for the main cast that isn't in the lost category. Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is an Easter egg in the game, encountered when you see a poster of him and look back into your office. Doors or lights won't do anything, but you can flip your screen back up to make him disappear. They're a very pivotal character of the series, but their appearance is loomed in mystery, so there's a lot of details that we don't really know about Golden Freddy. For some reason in Linkmer's video, he said that he would win against Golden Freddy because it's nothing than a fursuit. I guess he overlooked the fact that it's also possessed by a spirit, a very aggressive one at that. Golden Freddy's spirit is intent on getting revenge on their murderer and bringing them to hell to face horrors for their crime too. I mean, this is just an absolute loss. How the fuck are you going to punch a ghost anyways? Like, even if you have weapons enabled, this is just a huge loss. Moving on to FNAF 2, we have Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy is the toy version of the original Freddy Fazbear. You'd think he'd be a lot more shorter, but nope, he's still pretty tall. Normally when Toy Freddy is getting close to your office, you would do so through the hallway, until he appears inside, although you could avoid him by using the Freddy mask. See, this Freddy mask will make the animatronics, particularly the toy animatronics, believe that you're one of them because of a facial recognition system built into them in order to detect sex offenders around the pizzeria. Why does the pizzeria have this technology? It's a long story. But this mask is able to trick the system, and in turn, it'll trick the animatronics. Without the Freddy mask, if we're put in a one-on-one situation with Toy Freddy, I mean, look at him. It's like going up against Andre the Giant. This is another loss. Toy Bonnie. Toy Bonnie is the toy version of the old Bonnie, and he, like his other fellow toy animatronics, have the built-in facial recognition system to detect criminals. Toy Bonnie would approach your office through the right side, right where there's a vent along the way. When he's nearby, you could use the Freddy mask to disguise yourself, and Toy Bonnie would just fuck off. But in a fighting scenario, I still think he could best us. Now, if you think that you can just smack Toy Bonnie when he jumps right towards you for a jump scare, it's not exactly possible. I mean, trying to hit 100 pounds of metal in mid-air? Yeah, no. This is a loss. Toy Chica. Toy Chica is a toy version of Chica, and like the rest of her fellow toy animatronics, she is also equipped with the same facial recognition system to identify criminals. When she approaches your office, Toy Chica will reach you through the right side of the vents, though sometimes she can be visible through the hallway. One more detail about Toy Chica, and one that's made her pretty iconic, is the fact that when she gets off the stage, she takes her eyes and beak off of her face. Nobody knows why she does this. Some people theorize that she puts her eyes on the cupcake in order to see better, but that doesn't really make any sense because she clearly has pupils. Though, this one detail here could give us a hint that Toy Chica might have an unstable design if parts of her face are falling off. It could hint that the area around Toy Chica's head is a lot more fragile than most of the other toy animatronics, since you don't really see them having their eyes taken out. Then again, we're kind of reaching a bit here. We still lose against Toy Chica. These toy animatronics don't fuck around here, alright? They're built to kill people like us. And no, flashing your dick is not going to help. If anything, she'll just bite that off. Mangle. Mangle was, I assume, to be a member of the toy animatronics until they're introduced as a rip-apart put back together again Mangle, because too many kids were taking them apart. Though now that I realize that, I guess some of these toy animatronics might actually have those unstable designs. They can be seen around almost everywhere in the pizzeria, in the vents, climbing on the walls, and even hanging off the roof. They have sharp teeth too. which they use to bite your frontal lobe out. However, just like Foxy, Mangle has some really bad defense stats. The fact that a bunch of kids rip them apart shows it too. Mangle's basically just a metal skeleton, they don't even have any layers. So if kids can rip them apart, I see no reason why functional adults can't do it either. But this is only if you're able to attack first. If Mangle makes the first move, and the second those teeth chomp on you, you're dead. I'll still put this as a win, even though it's more inclined to be in the middle, if anything. The puppet. This is a loss. I mean, do I even have to explain? Even in the scenario of using the frame mask, it still won't work. Well, unless you keep that fucking music box wind up, there's literally no way to win this. Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy doesn't really jump scare you. He only takes your batteries away from your flashlight so that Foxy can do the work for him. So not only is he not scary or a threat, but he also lets other people do the work for him. Yeah, this is a win. Withered Freddy. Unlike the first Freddy or Toy Freddy, Withered Freddy does damage and withered. I really have to stop making these obvious descriptions. However, out of the other withered animatronics, he still kept his Riz, and he doesn't look as damaged as the others, who have their suits tear apart and their face off. Seeing as he's one of the withered animatronics, we can assume that his body isn't as functional or stable as his FNAF 1 counterpart, and that it could affect his performance. But he is still able to make his way to our office and try and kill us. And even as a withered animatronic, he's still able to kill us. You can use the frame mask to avoid that fate, but honestly, one-on-one with this thing, no. This is a loss. Wither Bonnie. Out of all the withered animatronics, Wither Bonnie has the worst conditions possible. His face is torn off, he's missing an arm, wires are exposed everywhere, and he's just in bad shape in general. He's one of the more active Wither animatronics right next to Withered Foxy, and he's able to reach you through the vents too, this time on the left side of your office. And he's also affected by the frame mask, as long as you put it on fast enough. As far as fighting him goes, can we actually win against Wither Bonnie? Maybe. Wither Bonnie's conditions are the worst out there, and while they do make him look terrifying, they also put him at a disadvantage. He's missing a left arm, his entire body is exposed with wires, and his face is entirely gone. And while that doesn't really affect his vision, you could still see his endoskeleton eyes. The wires around where his face used to be can definitely blind him. Wither Bonnie is just too damaged to really fight us. He just doesn't have the right type of body to fight. This is a win for us. Withered Chica. Another one of the withered animatronics that are beyond repair. I mean, Jesus, she is terrifying. And what's this? Did they give her teeth on her beak? Withered Chica's appearance is memorable for the damages. She's missing both of her hands, leaving a bunch of wires pouring out, and her jaw is broken, giving her this slit mouth appearance. Despite the damages, she can still head to your office quite fine, going through the right side vent and then appearing in front of you, doing an Evangelion reference. Using the frame mask can scare her away, but fighting her ourselves doesn't really look that good. Both of her hands are missing, yeah, but she still has her teeth, and if we're close enough, Withered Chica will bite our frontal lobes off. I'd say that this is a loss for us. Withered Foxy. Fuck you. I have enough shit on my hands to check the prize corner to wind up the music box, but in addition, I have to flash this guy down the hallway, then go back to my tablet, and then look up to hope he's not there. Only until 1 second later, after leaving, he's come back to do it all again until I drain my flashlight's battery. Fuck you, Wither Foxy! Excuse me. Anyways, Wither Foxy is commonly seen in the hallway to your office. He's a lot different than the other withered animatronics as the frame mask doesn't work for him, but instead you can use your flashlight to scare him away. And much like Wither Freddy, he's not that damaged compared to other Wither animatronics, though it could be because he was already battered in FNAF 1. His agility is still strong, as he's able to launch himself right towards you when he jump scares you. and his hook, unlike in FNAF 1, actually looks like a real hook. Our chances fighting him are looking really slim. He does still have the same weak points, like his legs, but what's the point if he's just going to jump right at you and bite your frontal lobe? Yeah, Wither Foxy's gotta have you pinned down and ready to pop your cherry. This is a loss for us. Withered Golden Freddy. There's nothing really much to say about this. I mean, we've already talked about Golden Freddy before, and Withered Golden Freddy is not much different. This is still a loss. Shadow Bonnie and, I guess, Shadow Freddy. Both of these two are prominent Easter eggs of FNAF, and especially here in FNAF 2. Shadow Freddy can be seen in the parts and service room, right where Wither Bonnie used to sit, and Shadow Bonnie can appear in your office and crash your game. Despite being prominent Easter eggs, we don't really know much about them. I mean, both of these characters are loomed in mystery, much like Golden Freddy. Except for this one, we're just gonna put them right in the middle. Alright, after 2 pizzerias from the 80s and 90s, we're now in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 with a haunted attraction. And don't worry, this one's gonna be fast because I'm already running late with this video. Let's start off with the Phantom Animatronics. There's Phantom Balloon Boy, Phantom Freddy, Phantom Foxy, Phantom Mangle, Phantom Chica, and Phantom Puppet. These guys are hallucinations that have their own mechanics and encounters, and they're all able to disable the audio, camera, ventilation system, or all three. They're capable of jump scaring you, except they never kill you. They can't, because they're hallucinations. So in a fight, I think we consider that these guys are undetermined. There's really no way of winning against your schizophrenic daydreams, and they can't kill you either. So all 6 of the most forgettable animatronic variations are undetermined. Springtrap. Now here's where things get interesting. This is a pretty unique animatronic, as instead of the rest being possessed by spirits, Springtrap is possessed by a corpse. The corpse is that of William Afton. The murderer that is responsible for all of this has killed countless of children back then. And now he's in the suit after suffering a fatal accident involving its spring locks. As Springtrap, he'll make his way to your office to try and kill you. But you can direct him into another room using the audio of Balloon Boy, as his suit, as well as many animatronic suits, are designed to go to any noisy or populated area. But what if all else fails and you're facing Springtrap at your office? Well, going up against Springtrap may be easier as he's not entirely an animatronic, and as for his suit, while it can't offer him protection, it's also heavily deteriorated. He's as damaged as the withered animatronics, and in theory, he could be easy to win against. However, and keep this in mind, Springtrap has killed people before, and while William's victims have been the most vulnerable group of people, that being children, it still shows his lack of a humanity, a sign for an extremely violent person. And considering that William, who's already been established as a psychopath, had been locked away for years in a manner similar to solitary confinement, we can assume that he's become a lot more unhinged than he has been before. He's probably aching to kill someone like us for his blood loss. If that's not the case, then why the hell is he trying to reach our office? I believe that while fighting Springtrap will be a lot more different than fighting the other animatronics, it'll still result in our defeat and Springtrap clapping our cheeks. This is a loss. We went from a pizzeria to another pizzeria to a haunted attraction, and now the animatronics are here at our house. .wad. Nightmare Freddy. Nightmare Freddy will only appear if you don't check your bed behind you for these little Freddys. They're called Freddles. If you fail to check, they'll transform into Nightmare Freddy. Appearance-wise, he looks a lot more aggressive than previous variations, with tears all over his body. Fighting him doesn't look too good for us either. He's got sharp teeth, claws, and even his toes are sharpened.
I can almost taste it.
Yeah, so if Nightmare Freddy kicks you in the gut, your intestines are just gonna pour out. Try not to leave your legs spread open at the same time too, otherwise he's gonna give you more than just a circumcision. This is just a loss. Nightmare Bonnie. Much like his other variations, Nightmare Bonnie tries approaching inside your room through the left side. You can only hear him as well as other animatronics through subtle noise cues, like the sounds of footsteps or breathing. Closing the door shut would stop him, though for some reason you can't really lock him out or just leave it closed. Fighting him isn't gonna do much. He's got sharp teeth and claws, though thankfully no sharp toes, and while his chest and waist area look like they're exposing his vulnerable endoskeleton spine, it seems like even approaching him is just a loss. Nightmare Chica. Just like her other variations, Nightmare Chica tries approaching your room from the right side. Through subtle audio cues, you can stop her by shutting the door on her. But if you open the door back up when Nightmare Chica is only halfway down the hallway, she'll send a Nightmare Cupcake. While Nightmare Cupcake's small size means that they can easily attack you, it also means they can be easily overpowered. This one's a win. Nightmare Chica isn't. She has, or had, 3 rows of teeth before they changed it for some reason, and keeping up with the other animatronics, she also has sharp claws. I mean, do I even have to explain here any further? This is a loss. Nightmare Foxy. In the game, Nightmare Foxy is inside your closet. You have to continuously check on him and close the doors before he can jump scare you. If you succeed, he turns back to a plushie. If you fail, you're gonna have to fight him. His entire body, just like the rest of the Nightmare animatronics, is sharp. Even his hook looks sharper than the previous variations. He's supposed to have a metal tongue too, but I guess that was cut out. We really don't have that much of a chance against the Nightmare animatronics. This is a loss. Nightmare Fredbear. Nightmare Fredbear appears in the entirety of Night 5, being the only active animatronic, and he would appear in Night 6 at 4 AM. He can be anywhere. He can approach you from the left hallway, the right hallway, he could be in your closet, and his head can appear on your bed. No other animatronics are active when he's around, which is, I guess, good, but with him? Jesus. I mean, the mouth with sharp teeth is already bad enough, but even his stomach has a pair of teeth. If we fight Nightmare Fredbear, he's gotta eat us like some vor fanfic. There's nothing we can do. This is a loss. Plush Trap. Plush Trap appears in these mini games where you have to stop him directly on the X. If you do so and succeed, you'll get a head start on the next night. He's basically a scrawny, smaller sized version of the original Springtrap. I think we can all agree that this is a win. Nightmare Balloon Boy. Nightmare Balloon Boy replaces Plush Trap in the Halloween update for FNAF 4. He's a lot bigger than Plush Trap and is shown with a mouthful of teeth, and also sharp claws. Nightmare Balloon Boy's size could aid us, just like it has with other smaller characters like Nightmare Cupcake, Plush Trap, and the Freddles. But he also looks a lot more intimidating than those guys. I mean, it looks like if we try throwing a punch or a kick, he can easily bite them off and leave us defenseless. Maybe a lot of you guys will put this as a win, or maybe in between, but I think I'm gonna put him in between. Yeah, you thought I was gonna put him in the lost category. Nightmare Mangle. Nightmare Mangle replaces Nightmare Foxy in the Halloween update, and so they have the same mechanics. With that in mind, let's keep this short and say that this is a loss. I mean, come on now. Nightmare. Nightmare is just like Nightmare Fredbear, but more harder to beat and black. And I think that's about it for him. I honestly don't know much about him because I haven't finished FNAF 4. But since he's a more aggressive version of Fredbear, I'm gonna assume that this is just gonna be a loss. Nightmare Yawn. Nightmare Yawn is in the Halloween update, replacing Nightmare. They're considered a lot more aggressive than Nightmare and can attack from everywhere at a fast pace. And once again, this is a loss for us. These Nightmare animatronics are something else. And no, I'm not doing Jacko Bonnie or Jacko Chica, because we have a 5th game to cover. Sister Location. Let's start off with the small guys first, like Bibibab. Baby Bab are these small characters that I guess dedicate their lives to Circus Baby. They're like a group for her, although there's no exact number as to how many there are. They only appear in Night 2 and nowhere else. They're kind of forgotten nowadays. And because of their small size and the fact we don't really know much else about them, I think it's safe to say that a nice, good kick to these guys will guarantee us a win. Minireena. The Minireenas are like the Bibibabs, except they're much smaller and they're with Ballora. They appear in Night 4, while you have to make sure you don't have a spring lock accident. These little shits will attack you. I guess it made sense why they could attack you at that moment since you couldn't really move, but squaring off against them will only result in another win. Bonnet. Bonnet is the girl version of Bonbon. They only appear in the custom night for sister location. She'll come to your office and walk around until you can click her nose, and if you do, she'll go away, but if you can't, she'll jump scare you. So, if we get in a fight with her, all we have to do is just boop the snoot. This is a win for us. And wow, we're actually getting pretty lucky. Who's next? Oh, right. Okay. Funtime Foxy is located in the Funtime Auditorium. They have a big role in Night 3 where you have to pass through Funtime Auditorium in complete darkness. You only have a flash beacon, where you must flash the area and Funtime Foxy a couple of times. Not too much and not too little. So he can use the darkness as an advantage against us, which is already bad enough. But in custom nights, he also behaves a little bit like Foxy, which leads me to believe that his agility is just as good. I personally think this is gonna be a loss. There's not really much we can do against them. Ballora. Ballora is the first humanoid design of an animatronic, which I found interesting. They're located in the Ballora Gallery, and she has a big role to play in Night 2, where you have to go across the gallery to manually reboot Sister Location's system. Anytime she's near, music chimes will be heard, giving us an indicator of where she is and how close she is. She can only hear as her design shows that she's blind, even though it seems like she has eyes hidden underneath her faceplate, but I guess she doesn't do this more often because then it would have been easier for her to find us in Night 2. You might say that this is a loss, that the robot version of Lady Dimitrisou can easily kill us. And sure, it could be a loss, but I think, and just get with me on this, I think it's also a win. The big reason why is vision. Sight is extremely important, especially when fighting someone, as without any visuals, you'll be easily defeated. Yes, it's only one advantage we have over her, but it's a big one. Try fighting someone with your eyes closed, I'm sure that'll work fine for you. And in my opinion, because Ballora is blind and can only rely on sounds, which we can easily use to trick her, I think this could be a win for us. Bonbon, who I kind of skip over, but now he's here. Bonbon is on Funtime Freddy's right hand, sort of acting like his puppet. Funtime Freddy can use them to go after you in the custom nights, sort of like Nightmare Chica and Cupcake in FNAF 4. But you can also use Bonbon against Funtime Freddy in Night 2. Look, we already know the answer to this. It's a win. For Bonbon, at least. But what about his pal Funtime Freddy?
Come on, Bonbon! Let's not keep our friend waiting! Anybody home? You sure? Okay, let's go get him in 3, 2, 1.
Circus Baby. Circus Baby is the main antagonist of Sister Location. She's possessed by Elizabeth Afton, the daughter of William Afton. And yes, she's just as much of a sociopath as he is. She and the rest of the Funtime animatronics were designed by Afton to kill children, with Circus Baby even having a metal claw inside her chest to quickly grab a child inside her. It's only happened once and the victim is Elizabeth herself. Afterwards, she died right inside the Circus Baby and possessed the animatronic. Oh, and compared to all the other characters, Circus Baby has the most consistent height I've seen so far, where people say that she's somewhere around 7 feet and 2 inches. Jesus Christ. For reference, Shaquille O'Neal is only 7'1", just 1 inch shorter than Circus Baby. Are you fucking kidding me? There's no way we're gonna win against this. This is a loss. Ennard, the man himself. Ennard is a hybrid animatronic made from the parts of the other Funtime animatronics after they all combined themselves into him. Since he's basically made from the animatronics that we lost to, and he's also shown to be a lot more aggressive than the rest of the cast, I think I'm putting him in loss and just moving on to Pizza Simulator, if that's alright with everyone. Okay, so Pizza Simulator has 2 types of characters. The animatronics that you interview and go after you at night, and those dollar store animatronics for your tycoon game. Let's just get through the latter animatronics first. Mr. Hippo, Pig Patch, Orville Elephant, Ned Bear, and my personal favorite, Happy Frog, are all a win. They're medium-sized animatronics, so they're not as big as the usual ones, and they're also powered with these battery packs, and without them, they won't operate as well. Rockstar Freddy, Rockstar Bonnie, Rockstar Chica, and Rockstar Foxy. All of these characters have their own little traits, and some of them don't even want to harm you, unless on rare occasions. I will say they had a lot more screen time in UCN, but I honestly can't really decide if we can win or lose against them. If we have a lot more information and these Rockstar animatronics are developed a lot more, then I might decide, but for now I'm gonna do what I did back in the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 section and put them all in the middle. Okay, now there's trash on the gang, with Bucket Bob, Mr. Can-Do, Mr. Hugs, Number 1 Crate, and Pan Stan. All wins. I just want to quickly move this along, holy shit. Funtime Chica. She's a Funtime version of Chica, but in this game for some reason. We don't know much about her other than she's seeking for a lot of attentions. We don't even know if she's also killed children like the other Funtime animatronics. So she's going in the middle with the rock stars. Security Puppet. They allow you to play this cryptic minigame. And that's about it? I mean, they're probably just a normal puppet, but we don't really know, so it's going down the middle. El Chip. It's a Mexican animatronic that runs El Chip's Fiesta Buffet with traditional Mexican dishes. It sounds pretty tasty, but in a fight, I honestly don't know if we'll win or lose, so he's also going down the middle. Yep. And then there's Music Man. Yeah, this one's a loss. Alright, we can move on to the important animatronics, like Lefty. Lefty is an animatronic that was designed solely to contain the puppet, so they're basically the puppet. Being that we already lost to him back in FNAF 2, I think it's safe to say we're losing against Lefty here as well. And if you think that we're somehow able to beat him up and destroy him, that would also release the puppet's soul and get us killed either way. I'm calling this one an automatic loss. Molten Freddy. He's basically Ennard, but the other animatronics were tired of Circus Baby, so they kicked her out and let Funtime Freddy take control. He's made entirely out of these metal cords, I guess. Being a Funtime animatronic though, they're practically insane and overtly aggressive. There's even what looks like blood on his teeth and claws. Yeah, we're losing this one, boys. Scrap Trap. I don't know what William did to himself here, but he's in a different suit now. Scrap Trap is practically the same as Spring Trap, except the design might have been an original Spring Bonnie, but no one really knows for sure. William is still murderous even like this. His left arm is gone and instead uses this sharpened bone. This might actually be a win for us, and I'll explain why. Yes, Scrap Trap does have this bone blade, but there's a problem. It's only connected through his upper arm and not through his forearm or his elbow. Why is this a problem? Well, without a forearm, he's not able to swing that bone blade around, so it's just stuck there. Oh yeah, he's missing an elbow too. There's nothing on his left arm that shows any bone structures of an elbow, so that's gone. I'm sure William would find a way to use this to his advantage, but he's also made the wrong choice here with his suit. The Scraptrap suit is exposing a lot more places than the original Springtrap suit. Like, for example, his head. With William's head being exposed like that, it means that you can easily deal some severe damage by hitting him around there. His body underneath the suit looks like it's mostly bone too, with very little, if not any muscles whatsoever. If William's body looks like that, then that could mean that his bone blade there will probably break when it gets used. We can overpower this peanut. This is a win. You know what isn't a win though? Scrap Baby. Even after destroying her entire body and being rejected from the other animatronics, Scrap Baby is able to rebuild herself close to her original form. She's even using that metal claw that was inside her as her right arm. Like father, like daughter. Except unlike her father, we're going to lose to her. I mean, Jesus. Dreadbear. Out of all the animatronics, aside from the DJ and I guess the Blob, Dreadbear is one of the tallest. He's probably around twice the size of the average person, and he's also designed after Frankenstein's monster, which must also mean that his strength is a lot more powerful than most people, and probably even most animatronics. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this is a loss. Grim Foxy. And I thought Dreadbear was bad. Grim Foxy almost looks like he's engulfed in flames here. He's got claws again, returning from his nightmare design, and he doesn't have a hook anymore. He has a sickle. And considering all the other Foxy variations have been known to be faster than the fastest man alive, he could easily chase us down swinging that sickle at us. We're dead. We're dead. This is a loss. Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap is William Afton's spirit after he died in the fire at the good ending of FNAF 6. He transferred his mind into a computer where he haunts a volunteer of the FNAF VR game and attempts to gain a physical body, which would then lead him to mind-controlling Vanessa and becoming Burn Trap. If we are going to fight him, we have to do it on VR, which won't really do anything. Glitch Trap might be the only one between us to actually affect the fight, but we can easily stop him by getting offline and touching grass. At the same time, we can't really kill him like this, so this is undetermined. Okay, now we're on Security Breach and Ruins. By the time I'm recording this, it's one day before Halloween, the FNAF movie already came out, and this video is longer than my Ungazelic video. I'm so exhausted. This is what we're gonna do now. Because Ruins is a DLC to Security Breach, I'm going to speak on the Security Breach animatronics and their Ruins counterpart, if they even have one. I'm sure it'll help both of us here, so let's just get right to it. Glamrock Freddy. Glamrock Freddy is the new Freddy Fazbear, and instead of being bad, he's good. He helps us along the way and even lets us pilot him. There was only one time he could attack us, and that would be when we fail this Simon Says bullshit. Now, in a fight, it's... I mean, we would just fail. There is an item in the game that could avoid Glamrock Freddy from killing us, and that's the laser gun. The laser gun is able to stun an animatronic for a few seconds, but don't worry because you can use it multiple more times. However, if we lose this laser gun and we're in a fist fight with Glamrock Freddy, we're screwed. Ruin Freddy is also a loss. He doesn't have his head, which means he can't see or be able to hear, and he's looking like he's seen better days, but he also has claws and a chest that sort of acts like a mouth. Compared to Ballora, a character who also doesn't have sight, Ruin Freddy can actually fight back in a severe way. Like, even if he's going in blind, he can still do damage. I think this one might be hard to defeat. Montgomery Gator. Montgomery Gator in Security Breach was pretty aggressive. I mean, he was just angry wherever you went, stomping on the floors of the pizzeria, banging on the doors, and most likely dismantled Glamrock Bonnie too. Yeah, this one's a loss. In Ruins, Monty is only an endoskeleton. though he still has a shred of his mohawk left. He's lost both of his legs and crawls around the pizzeria in order to find you. He does have a sharp row of teeth, but they can do very little in his state, unless he bites our legs first and proceeds to chomp down. But considering he's without any protective layers, and he's also a handicap, I think we can easily win against this Monty, as long as we don't trip or fall down. Glamrock Chica. I'm not making any I Show Me jokes, I already did it once. Glamrock Chica goes through hell in Security Breach, like losing her beak. She appears to be the most airheaded of the Glamrock animatronics, as she can be easily fooled and attracted to any noises around. She still might be able to get us if we fight though, but her ruined counterpart is a different story. Just by looking at her, you'll see what I mean. Her body is falling apart and has this disgusting substance all over her. She's just a complete mess, and I doubt her body is going to continue to hold on like that. We can win against Ruined Chica, but honestly, seeing her side by side with her original model is pretty sad. Roxanne Wolf. Roxanne Wolf seems to have this sort of self-esteem issue. She keeps talking to herself about how she's the best, and even taunts us throughout the game. This could be used as an advantage to our fight though. Someone like this clearly has many problems affecting their mentality, so the best way to deal with it is to use it against her. Obviously, duh. By calling Roxanne out with similar taunts, we can harm her mentality and weaken her defense. She'll probably even have a mental breakdown from our actions. But this could be a double-edged sword, as it could get her in a fit of rage and kill us. It's an interesting way to deal with an animatronic, but at the end, Roxanne is actually better than us. This is a loss. Ruined Roxanne is in a worse shape than her original model, if that isn't clear enough. The area with the most damage is in her face. After getting run over by Gregory in a hit and run with a cart, Gregory was still her eyes, and her face was left broken, which would worsen over time. Despite this, it seems she still kept her strength. She can fend off the Mimic for Cassie to get away, and while she was handled by him, the fact she's capable of fighting him doesn't give us a chance. I'm sorry, but this is a loss. The daycare attendant. They're in charge of Superstar Daycare, and take care of any young kids arriving at the pizzeria. The character has two personalities. Sun, who's energetic and optimistic, and Moon, who's the opposite of Sun. They would change it to these personalities based on the lighting of the area. He's shown to be quite athletic too. He just seems way more flexible than other animatronics. Now, in a fight, preferably against Moon, we can always try and expose him to light so that he can turn passive. And if we can't do that, we have to go against him. But unlike other animatronics, the daycare attendant is able to perform acrobats that most humans can't even do, so that can definitely screw us over. At the same time, it looks like any hit we can land on the daycare attendant could do a lot since his body is very slim. His ruined counterpart is not much too different aside from being damaged, so I'll just put daycare attendant and ruined daycare attendant in between. Glamrock Endo. The Glamrock endoskeletons work the same way as the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who, or SCP-173. If you look away from them, they'll start to slowly move towards you. Since they're naked endoskeletons, they don't have any protection aside from the material they're made from. We can theoretically win if we just keep staring at the endos. You might ask though, what if we have to blink? Just blink one eye at a time. You'll still be looking at them, and as long as you're looking at them, they won't move. We can count this as a win, but only as long as you keep staring at them. DJ Music Man. This is a loss. On that note though, the Little Music Man are a win. Burntrap is this digital ghost and the overarching villain of Security Breach. He's been behind everything that's been happening. Hacking the animatronics, mind controlling Vanessa, everything. And with that track record, we don't really stand a chance, especially in the Ruins DLC, where even though Burntrap was taken away by the Blob, they appear again as the Mimic, where they replicate Gregory's voice to lure Cassie to him, so he can finally escape the pizzeria. It was confusing having to read a bunch of this, but considering that both Burn Trap and Mimic have been the cause for all the destruction and security breach and ruins, we're putting them as losses. Yeah, we really can't win a fight with them. The entity. I don't know. Okay, this might finally be it. Our final animatronic. I'm not counting the staff bots, and Glamrock Bonnie is already dead, so we don't know anything about him. Here it is. Our final character, the Blob. The Blob, or Tangle as other people call it, is this pile of other animatronics with the head of Funtime Freddy. Some people think that this might actually be Molten Freddy, collecting parts from over the years, but we don't really know. They've resided inside the pizzeria and will attack anyone that it sees. At the end of Security Breach, the Blob escapes and leaves a giant sinkhole inside the pizzeria. I made points throughout this video that many of you will agree and disagree with, and that's perfectly fine. But I think we can all agree and unanimously say that there is no way to win against this. This is, by far, the biggest loss here. The only thing to do when you see this is to run. I did not expect this video to be this long here. So let's wrap things up. I just went through 80 animatronics and gave out my opinion of how I would fight them to hand-to-hand combat. Out of the 80, I lose to a majority of 39. That's at least a 48.148 repeating percent of losing to these animatronics. I would then win against 22 animatronics, which would be 27.16% chances of winning. And in the undecided and neutral animatronics, there's a 24.69% chance. I'm sure my math here is flawless and definitely not wrong. Oh, and if you notice that I added an additional number to my wins, you're not tripping out, and I'm not cheating, but it is my fault. I just forgot to include the Freddles, so we'll just say that that one's a win. Yeah, unfortunately it's a bit too late to change that, but can you really blame me? Look how many characters there are. This was really exhausting to work on, but it was also kind of fun figuring out how to kill a bunch of animatronics possessed by spirits of dead children. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have your own thoughts about it too. Now then, I would really appreciate if you all unsubscribe from this channel, because we just passed 1,000. Unsubscribe now. And happy Halloween.